Hey everyone, my name's Enzo. We're going to go ahead and do a quick rundown of how to use Thinkorswim. First time logging into it, this should open up the screen just like this. So this is the paper money account. You could always get this reset. So once you're logged into the account, first thing you'll notice is the panel out on your left side. The first part is going to be the account info, whatever type of account you're approved for, all those funds will show up here. The second part will standardize come out with live news. If you type in the ticker or symbol, it should pull up news for that company. Second is if you want to watch live TV for either the TD Ameritrade network or any of the CNBC if it's for US, Europe, Asia, or even for futures. So if you click that, hit the play button, it'll start. If there's a commercial, it'll play this screen. If there isn't a commercial, it'll play whatever is on whatever is playing that day. And then the other part will be a watch list. Whatever watch list you have curated will be on here. You can follow, you can customize this as well by clicking here, and then you can go to either a page setup or detach widget. If you detach widget, it comes out into its own pop-up screen, which is nice if you have multiple screens. And you can add them by just clicking here, adding, and it'll create another spot to add another company or future or whatever you're trying to follow. And then you could always add different panels as well. So if you want to add another account info or a quick quote, scratch pad for notes, looks like you got a Tetris game, timing sales for the stock you're following, level 2, whatever it is you want to add, you can do that here. Then we'll actually start off with monitor. This is where your trades will be as far as working orders, any filled orders, canceled orders, or rolling strategies. You'll see all that here. If you have any active trades, it'll pop up on this area right here. You'll see what you're in, what your P&L is, and what your position is. Account statement. This is great if you want to get a statement summary on what your P&L has been for either a certain time period, a week, a month, year, or from the inception of your account. And the next one, this is for FX, Forex. This is for something completely different we can get into later. Second screen is trade. All products, you're going to find information or trades on options. This is where all this info will be. So we can use Apple for example. When this pops open, this will tell you the information about the stock right here at this part, what its last trading price was, what the net change was for the day, its bid and asks, size, volume, and etc. If you go down here, this is where you'll see all your option contracts that are available to you. When you look at this 1 October 21, so basically what this is saying is that this option contract will expire on October 1st, 20 of 21. The parentheses says how many days are left until the last trading day or until the day of expiration. So if you click this, this is where you'll see your strike prices. Sometimes you won't see too much, and this is where you can adjust that. So this is allowing you to see up to 4 strike prices. If we click this, we can click 12, 14, or we can do all, which can be pretty overwhelming. Usually I like to keep it at 12, or for this one actually 14. So your calls are on the left, your puts are on the right, and this is the information for the call for the option. So what the last traded price was, the net change, bid and ask, and you can change these by going here. These are already preset. If you want to look at the Greeks, you can have it just viewing by the Greeks only. If you want to look at by volume and open interest, or if you want to look at it by, should have a percentage, usually is what people like to look at, but if it's not, you can always hit customize and add percentage, click OK, and that would pop up here showing you how much is changed for that day. Same thing for all the other calendars. Now, go to for Forex, if you want a quick trade Forex. I don't think we really do that in this group, but futures traders, kind of the same thing, just allows you to take an overall look at all the futures. And then active trader, if you are actively trading a single a stock or futures or whatever it is that you're wanting to trade. If you go to analyze, this is where you can either add simulated trades, get a risk profile of, how many shares you're wanting to, or how many shares you bought and where it'll be, or if you bought options, what your profit would look like based on timelines and price movement and trajectory, which is awesome. Um, Scan, this is where you can scan, you can play, this is a great tool to play with if you want to find certain stocks or opportunities. Market watch, this is basically kind of just a watch list. You have the charts, this is probably the most important part. So we're going to go ahead and just look at futures for 10, well actually on this video, just because it's after hours and we can trade it, so we can play some examples of trading on here. So when you first log in, the first thing you'll see is a empty canvas basically, and you'll see a chart, just got candlesticks and volume, and that's it. If you want to add technicals to this, it's pretty simple. You would right click here, you can go to studies and then edit studies, and then you pick what you would want. So typically the most popular you'll see people have are the RSI, the MACD, which is my favorite, is the stochastic slow. So you hit apply, and now all your technicals have been added on here. Sometimes you'll see it where it comes out really squished and you can't see exactly what's happening. You can adjust that by going to the right where the numbers are. You'll see your mouse turn into an up and down arrow. You can drag it up, so you'll click and hold and drag it up, or drag it down, whatever you want to do with it. Sometimes you'll get something like this where it's the stochastic. If you want to make changes to smoothen out things or modify the technicals, if you have some custom set parameters that you prefer to use, you can right click on that, click edit study, and for example, if we want to smooth these lines out, we would change our K period to 14 days and our D period to 3. And you can change other things as well here if you want to change the colors and the thickness and style of these lines. So if we click apply, now this gets cleaned up a lot better. So that's a simple way to, or a quick way on how to add technicals. Other things that you can do is drawings. If you want to add drawings, if you want to do trend lines, for example, click here. And then once you've done, you picked your final destination, you can click there. Now, a really cool thing about the trendline tool is you can see what the percentage difference is. So let's say I want to know how much of a percentage difference it is to go from 44 all the way to 43.72. So once I draw it, you'll see this this right here, this box pop up. And if you look at that box, it'll give you a percentage showing you what the difference is to go from 43.44 to 43.72. So this was about 0.65%, timeline 34 minutes, a total of 35 bars, and it's 28 points is what it took to get up to there. Really great information. Other things you can do on here is if, for example, you want to do drawings, if you want to add a Fibonacci, for example, and when you put your mouse on here, it will tell you what these mean, so that way you know what you're adding on there. If you want to do like a Fibonacci retracement, so for example, you want to click from the lowest point to the highest point, it will draw that out for you. And if you need to delete something, if you just hover your mouse, you'll see it highlight or get a little thicker or bolden up. If you right click on that, you can hit remove drawing or duplicated. If you activate the drawing, you can then change the lines on it again without having to go through the whole hassle of picking the tool and redrawing everything again. So if we want to go ahead and delete this, we'll hit remove drawing. But let's say you have multiple drawings, right? So here, and then we want to delete all of them. In order to do that, you right click somewhere on an empty screen, hit clear drawing set, and then you would click yes, and they would all go away. If you need to zoom out from here, you have on the bottom right, you have your plus and minus magnification icons. If you click the minus, it will zoom out. If you want to zoom in, you can either do plus, or if there's a specific section that you want zoomed in only, For example, I want it from here to here. You click your mouse and hold it, and then drag, highlighting that area, and it will zoom in specifically on that area only. And if you want to zoom out, again, just down here. And also here too, they add another shortcut for your drawing tools. So some people like to have this timeline pushed a little bit more back just so they can draw extended outlines. So in order to do that, you want to be able to pan. So you click this finger pointing icon. And this allows you to pan the chart back and forth, so it's not sitting at the very end here. Personally, I prefer having a little space at this corner. Now, if you want to change your timeline, you can click the 1 minute or up here, whatever your current time frame you'd be in, it would tell you right there. So you click that, and these will be preset timelines. So if we want to see 5 minute, this will change to a 5 minute timeline. Let's change this tool really quick. So this will change to a 5 minute timeline, 1 hour, 4 hour, and so forth. Now, if you want to do custom timeframes, you can go to the timeframe spot. You can pick your intervals. So how many days of data do you want out of this? If we only do 15 days, for example, and 4 hours, which the 4 hour represents how the time frame of each candlestick. And if that's what we want, we will click OK, and that's what you'll get. Now, there's also another way you can chart is by going by ticks. So we'll do, for example, a 4-day range. We want to see 512 ticks. So if we click OK, it might take a little bit of a second for this to load. There we go. So what this is showing you is how many tick or movements is needed to finish out a candlestick. So 512. And the way you can count that is this area. There's this little icon right here. This is counting tick movement. So far it's done 353 tick movements. Once it reaches 512, the counter will reset, and then also a creation of a new candlestick will be created. Here you'll see your what's in red is your current price. And then when you move the mouse, this crosshair, you can see whatever price it's at. So for example, I want to see what this price was here. That means it's 43.61. So if we go back here, and you can customize this list too if you want to make, if you like specific time frames that you want to add on there. So let's say, for example, if we like this time frame, we can add it. And then, sorry, hold on. Add right here. And then you can also move it up and down if you want a specific location on that time frame. And then here, when you get this chart settings tool, there's a lot more other features and options that you can customize. So if you go to general, this is where you can find the appearance of your charts. If you want a darker theme or a lighter theme, change alerts. What all in all do you want to see on there? Do you want to see your studies? You want to see show orders means if you put it in an order, a limit order, for example, that you're only willing to buy at the 43.62 mark, it'll show your order floating on the chart itself. Price access. So this will give you some, it's really just some stuff to play with on customizing your chart. And honestly, the best way to learn this is not by just watching this video and repeating it. It's really watching the video, knowing where everything is, and then going in there and playing with it yourself and get going on the paper money account. So that way you're not burning through real money and so forth. So appearances where you can change the color of your candles or the background and whatnot. And for whatever other information you want on there. So pretty straightforward, honestly. It just looks a little bit overwhelming if you've never used it before, but it's honestly really straightforward and easy to use. Now, let's say you want to follow multiple charts or multiple stocks, or maybe you're the same security that you're trading, you just want to see different time frames at the same time. Well, this box up here, for example, if we click that, this will open up a grid view. So for example, if we want to see 4 different charts or 4 different time frames, we would highlight 4 and then it'll open up 4. Now you can either type the stock in here yourself and then have it come up, or what you can do is, if you see this chain icon, if you change that to the color red, that means that anything changed here or anywhere on the screen or within the application that's under this color, it will change everything else on that color. So we would do this one as well and this one as well. So if I change this to Apple, for example, they will all change with it. So let's go back to the S&P future here. Now, let's say, for example, you want to see the same chart on this, this, and this as far as your technicals go. So what you would want to do with your studies, you'd want to go ahead and save them. So you can save your study set, click OK, and then if we right-click Studies, Load Study Set, click Test, the one that we had saved, and now you have the same study set across the board. So that's a quick, easy way to open up multiple charts. So we'll just go back to one. Or the other thing too is if you have multiple screens and you want this specific setup on a separate screen, if you click here, Show Actions menu, you can detach it and now you have it on a separate window. So now you can re-customize this back to one and you'll still have this window here. So we'll go ahead and close this. Now, the exciting part, going in and out of trades. There's a multitude of different ways to do it, but really the easiest way, besides options, if you're just buying the stock, you can do it two ways. One is by right-clicking. So if you right-click, for example, here, so let's do like the 4362. If I right-click here and I click Buy Single, it's automatically going to put at a limit price on where I had the mouse at. And then, so this is what we want to buy. We'll click OK, go ahead and send. So now here's that order, like I was telling you before, floating on the chart. If I want to change this because I want to fill it in right away, I would put it right here and then confirm, send again, and our order is filled. So if we go to our monitor screen, this now shows our position, P&L open, and the buying power effect is how much it costs us to buy that contract. Now there's another way you can view that information, and that's by clicking the active trader right here. If you open up the active trader, so sometimes you'll see this, it'll blank out, just all you gotta do is zoom out of it completely. And the active trader will tell you your current position status. The active trader is meant for you to go in and out of trades quickly and see exactly where your positions are at without having to change screens. So it'll tell you what your I think that is what buys and sells, post long, basically how many positions if you're short or long one, your average trade price, meaning this is what we bought at, and this is your P&L for open and P&L for the day. Now, let's say you want to close this position. There's a couple ways to do it. If you want to immediately close it at market value and you want to take those profits right away, you can click flatten, click yes, and it'll automatically get you out at the current price point that it's at. If you look at it here, this is a really quick way of putting limit orders in. So what you see in the gray right here, this is prices highlighted in gray. That is the current going for price. Let's say we want to put a limit order on 43.66. We can put it right here and hit send. Now, if you're trading quickly, you want to go in and out of orders quick, you don't want to have to always accept that. What you can do is, if you click this arrow, this will allow you to customize your template for how you'll put orders in. So let's say we don't want to go with one contract. We want to go in with 5 contracts, and we don't want to have to always click approve on the order. We can click auto send. So this time, if I put a here, automatically it puts in my order without having for me to approve it, and it's already pre-adjusted at the quantity of 5 contracts based on how I set this template. So let's say that's not working. I want to get out of that, move my order up. I can cancel it, or I can just drag it up. So that order actually just got filled. And here you'll get notifications too on the left side. It'll pop up when your order was filled or if there was any errors or whatever the case was. And let's say on this one, we want to flatten. So unlike last time, because we didn't have AutoSend, we get that notification up here. Well, if we click flatten with AutoSend checked, it'll immediately close that position out for you. So just talking for 2 seconds, we made 1750, and we were even being strategic about it. And on this side, which is pretty cool to show you what the volume is on each of these price points. And so this is to buy, and this is the sell side. So if we want to short, for example, we want to short here 5 contracts. So it'll sit there until that order gets executed, and it'll also sit on your chart. If we want to move it down to fill it quicker, we would just move it down really quick. Same thing with this, we can flatten it, or let's say for example, we see this price is going to reverse immediately. We want to get out of our shorted 5 position and move into a long 5 position. So we can just hit the reverse, and it'll immediately put us into 5 contracts long and close our shorted 5 contracts that we had. And then if we want to get out, again, we just hit flatten. This is a great tool, especially if you're active trading or day trading and you wanted to go in and out of orders really quick, or you're scalping them, whatever the case is. This is a perfect tool to use, and you could always customize it too by going to the configure buttons here. So you can pick what buttons are on here. So if you want to put any of these, you just literally drag it over. Actually, oh, never mind. You would just click add items. And then if you want to take it out, for example, you can do, for example, the cancel. We want to remove that. That'll get removed that way. And if we click OK, it'll change it right up there. The other one is time and sales. This will show you the time the order was executed, the price, and how many contracts or how many shares were bought. And then level 2 will show you level 2 pricing. So again, we're not going to go super in depth on some of this stuff because these are different topics. We're just going to be going into how to use the platform and how to go in and out of orders. So never forget, you always have this panel here for extra features like what we were just showing you here. So if you want to turn them off, just uncheck and uncheck. The other stuff you have up here is tools and stuff, education. Team Rate Trade actually for the Thinkorswim has really awesome, really awesome tutorials and really great videos and content for you to learn not just the platform, but also how to become a better trader as well. It's really great tool. I feel like some people don't really use that as much. Flexible grid, this is if you want to do some custom charting, very custom in-depth charting. You can do that here. And that's pretty much it as far as the charting goes, and kind of going in and out of your orders. Now if you want to trade options, which is something that we do often here, so let's say we want to do the Apple. When you type it here, if you go back to trade, on all products, you want to link this as well. Actually, it's already pre-linked, yeah. So you want to make sure it's linked with what you're charting, right? So when you're trading here and you want to buy a contract, let's say I want to buy, the $144 strike. If I click the bid, actually, sorry, this is a short it. So you'll sell 40 contracts of Apple at that strike price. Confirm and send it. So it'll tell you what your max profit or max loss would be. You actually cannot short naked calls without owning the underlying stock itself. And that's how you put your order in. So if you want to buy it, you go on the ask part. This is where you can adjust the amount of contracts that you want to buy. You can also change this back to sell if you want to. And then this is the symbol. You can make changes here to it if you want. And then you can also change your contracts on the fly as well here, or change your strike price. So you can just make adjustments, or you can set your limit price, or if you want to go straight into market, you can click here and go on market, or if you want to put a stop limit on your option, you can do that, or whatever else you want to change, you can do it there. Go ahead, confirm, send. This is not going to get executed just because this is after hours. Now, let's say you want to get a little bit more strategic with your options. So let's say we want to do a calendar spread on here, right? Or an iron condor. So let's say I want to go ahead and do a calendar spread. I'm going to click right click here, buy calendar, and now it'll automatically get you set up by shorting the weekly and buying into the next week on the same strike price, same amount of contracts. Confirm and send it, and it'll tell you what the cost is plus commission, and then you would send that order in. So same thing, like I said, nothing's going to happen until market open. But if I want to cancel these, for example, I can either actually no, sorry, I want to do it from here. We have to go to monitor. So here's our orders that are sitting in. Here's our single that we purchased. Cancel that. It'll cancel it, or you can do cancel and replace to go back in to change your limit. If you had a limit on it, for example, you can change your limit price here. You can just type it in 0.72, confirm and send, and then just resend the order in. And then it'll automatically cancel the previous one that you had, and then open up the new one. And then just to cancel it, cancel order. You don't have to confirm anything to cancel. Same thing with this one. And then this, now you can see your orders that were going in, that were filled or canceled, or their existing working orders. And this will still keep history. So the history on your current positions is for that trading day. Once the next trading day starts, this will then refresh or disappear. If you're still holding positions until the next day, that information will still remain here. Other than that, that's pretty much it on how to go in, trade a stock or an option or even futures. Same features would be available here if you're going to be doing the active trader for Apple, for example, instead of trading a future. Like I said, pretty straightforward. We'll make more videos with more in-depth or specific features, getting into the nitty-gritty of how to use them and some tips and tricks.